Hi, I'm Ann from Maumelle Library, and today I'm going to show you how you can make a simple necklace out of beads and twine. Let me show this to you, get that up close. And you can see it is nothing but beads and twine. There's the only supplies that you need. You don't need any special jewelry supplies, any tools, any special skills. If you can tie a knot, you can make this necklace. So let's get started. So for supplies, like I said, you just need to have some like fine hemp twine and you need some beads. This right here is what I'm talking about for the twine. Let me show you on my, see if I can show you more a little bit. This is just kind of a natural kind of twine, but kind of pretty thin. And for beads, let's see if I can show this to you. Just some glass beads. You're not gonna use more than probably about 3 or 4 of each bead. I usually kind of have like maybe 3 or 4 different styles of bead, and then I use like 3 or 4 of each bead for the necklace. It really doesn't take that much, which is kind of why I'll splurge and use my nice glass beads. I like to use the glass beads for a couple of reasons. The first is they're just so pretty, like the way the light hits the glass, especially with that like kind of natural rustic twine. It's kind of a neat contrast. The other thing is glass beads tend to weigh more than maybe say like plastic or wood beads. And since we're not using very many of them, the weight of those beads is kind of important to help your necklace like hang nice. But if you don't have any glass beads and you've got some plastic beads, go ahead and use the plastic beads or the wood beads. You'll still have a really pretty necklace. So to start with, I've cut a piece of twine that is roughly 2 yards long. And now I'm gonna go about 4 inches from one of the ends, and I'm going to just tie a simple knot. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a knot right there. Now I'm gonna go to the other end, and I'm going to thread on a bead. This will be my first bead. There we go. And of course the bead only goes as far as my knot. That's what I want to have happen. Now I'm going to tie another knot that's just to the other side of that bead. And this bead is going to hold it in place the other way. And just kind of scooch that knot on right up next to that bead. There we go. So now that bead's not going, whoop, there we go. Now that bead's not going anywhere. Now I'm going to go maybe about 2 inches in from that. I'll go this direction. About 2 inches from there, I'm going to tie another knot. And this doesn't have to be exact. Like you could be, if you want more beads on your necklace, then you could make those beads a little bit closer. If you want to have fewer beads, stretch it out a little bit more. Roughly 2 inches though. And we'll do just like we did before. We'll go from that other side. This time I'm going to put on this glass bead. Maybe not that one. That one's a little bit, that one's got a narrow little hole. Sometimes your beads have a hole that's a little bit too narrow for your twine to go through. There we go. Sometimes it helps, like that one I just trimmed off the end where the ends had got a little bit frayed, and then my thread was small enough to go through again. Go there. So it stops there. I'm going to tie a knot. And this is basically what you're going to do all the way down your twine. Choosing your beads, tying a knot, choosing a bead, all the way down. You can also, if you want to vary things up a little bit, like I've got some really small beads right here. Let me see if you can see these. And so I might do like 3 small beads before I tie the knot. I think that's sometimes a nice look too. So I'll show you that real quick. 1, 2, 3. I'll slide all of those down and you see what that looks like. That's pretty nice. And you're just going to continue all the way down until you get to roughly about 4 inches to this end. So here's one that's all the way done. I didn't make you watch me tie all those knots. All we really need to do now is just tie these ends together. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can just take them and just tie a simple knot like that, right? your knot will show a little bit. Another thing you can do if you want to disguise that a little bit is on one of them, let's tie just a single knot, kind of like we were doing before, roughly 2 inches away. And I'm going to thread a bead, just like we did before. Except this time, when I tie the knot on the other side, I'm going to tie with both of these cords together. So I just kind of lined up. What I did is like, here's the bead, there's the knot. I put this end and this end together. So I've got like, this is the other side of the necklace. So I've got both of these together. And now I'm going to tie my knot. It's a little bit harder because the cords are a little bit shorter. I can tie my knot right up next to that bead. And then I'm just gonna trim it. And that is it. That's all it takes to make a really simple glass bead necklace.